Very good afternoon to all of you. Myself, Dr. Moumita, Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Holden Institute of Technology. Today, I am going to discuss on my topic, Introduction of the Cryptography. So, what do you mean by cryptography? So, if you focus on this slide, you can see that there is a device or laptop which has been locked by a key. What do you mean by it? So, this is the device. This device wants to communicate to another device. That means this device wants to send some information or data to the another device. Those data should be protected by this using key or by a password. So how they can be communicated? So already you know. So there is a internet or global internet that are connected through the computer networks. So these computer networks are communicated by the administrative IANA. Okay. So next topic is that I want to discuss what are the contents that I want to discuss today. So these are the what do you mean by cryptography? What is the purpose of cryptography? What is the architecture of cryptography? What is the types of cryptography? What is the process of cryptography? What are the types of cryptographic algorithms? What are the crypto system services? What are the encryption system? What are the different methods that can be applied on the cryptography? What are the different algorithms like a symmetric and the asymmetric? And the last one I want to discuss what do you mean by steganography. So first of all, introduction part of the cryptography. So in that case, I told you that there is the some internet or the global internet that are connected of the computer networks through the addresses that may be administered by the IANA. IANA, what do you mean by it? It is the Internet Address and Naming Authority. So there is the different types of ranging that are more secure commercial and payments to the private communication, and those are protecting the passwords. So that means one, there is the main important for the secure communication from one device to the another device is the cryptography. So here, what is the meaning of cryptography? Cryptography is secret writing. Whatever you want to write, that may be written as a secretly. That is the Greek word. Crypto means that is the one of Greek word. That is the hidden secrets, or whatever you want to write, that may be written secretly. Suppose there is the sender and the receiver. Sender wants to send some data to the receiver. So that means sender is sending some data as the intelligible data as a plain text. That should be transferred to the receiver, that may be received by the receiver as the ciphertext, that is the unintelligible data. So in the receiver also convert from ciphertext to the plain text. So how process is happening? Sometimes there is some algorithm techniques are there. Whenever sender converting plain text to the ciphertext, it is technique is known as the encryption. Now, whenever receiver convert this data from ciphertext to plain text, it is known as the decryption. So next, there is the different types of services will be available in the cryptography. The main thing is main services are the confidentiality, integrity, and the accuracy. Next, I am going to discuss what are the services provided by the cryptography. Confidentiality, that means whatever sender wants to send some to the receiver, confidently they have to be send it. Integrity, so whenever sender is sending some data to the receiver, another person cannot alter or cannot change entire data. Authenticity, authenticate person send the authenticate data to the receiver. Non-repudiation, that means there is a sender, he has been or she has been sent some data to the receiver, but he or she may deny that one, he or she has not sent that data. And sometimes receiver has received the data from the sender, but receiver also deny that he or she has not received the data. In that case, we need to provide some services. Both parties cannot deny. Access control, there should be the communicating accessing power control will be between the sender and the receiver. So next is the purpose of the cryptography. So first was authentication, next confidentiality, integrity, non-repudiation. Authentication, in that case, the process of proving of one's identity. There is the primary forms of host-to-host authentication, or in that case, that may be the address-based, that may be the name-based. Authenticators, how the sender can identify the particular device, that may be identified by the name-based, or that may be identified by the address-based, which are the notoriously weak. Privacy or confidentiality, in that case, confidently sender wants to send the particular data to the receiver. Integrity, both sender is sending some data to the receiver, or there may be another person, they can alter or change the entire data. Next on the non-repudiation, that means in that case the mechanism to prove that the sender really sent these messages, that means they can agree that this he or she has been sent the data, or receiver can accept that yes, he has or she has received the data. This is the main purpose of the cryptography. Next, there is a architecture view of the cryptography. So here Alice is working as the sender, and the other side there is a Bob that is working as the receiver. Here Alice are using the private key that can be encrypted with the public key with the digital signature. That data should be encrypted at the receiver side. Here also Alice's messages will be the encrypted by the secret key with the hash function. That the entire messages will be encrypted. And Alice also using the one random session key that can be encrypted with the secret key. The entire messages will be encrypted at the receiver side. And the Bobs also use the public key that can be encrypted with the public key, and the messages will be encrypted by the session key. So that is the main scenario or architecture of the cryptography. So Alice is working as the sender and the Bob is working as the receiver side. Next, there is a model, that is the crypto system model. So there is a sender, he or she wants to send some data to the receiver. Receiver will receive that messages, the original message. Here plain text is working as the original message. That message will be converted to the ciphertext with the help of the encryption key and the encryption algorithm. Then receiver has received the ciphertext, that then receiver can transfer the ciphertext to the plain text. The process will be continued with the decryption key with the decryption algorithms. Whenever sender is sending the messages, original messages as the plain text, that has been converted to the ciphertext with the help of the some encryption key and the encryption algorithm, that ciphertext may be intercepted by the interceptor. We need to protect it. And the receiver also, as we receive the data as the ciphertext, it can convert to the plain text with the by applying the technique, that is decryption algorithm with the decryption key also. That is the decryption algorithm. Next, there are the different types of cryptography also be there: secret key, private key, public key cryptography. Here, what do you mean by secret key cryptography? That single key will be used for encrypt and decrypt the data. So both parties can use the same key. So here we are live in the hostel environment. In that case, it may be hard to share a secret key. Next, public key. So one of the keys allocated to each person is called the public key, and it will be published in the open directory whenever anyone can easily look it up. For example, is the email address. Each entity has the two keys. There is the private key, which is known as the secret key. Another is the public key, that is the well known. So that is the meaning of the public key. Next, using keys. That means whenever sender is converting the plain text to the ciphertext, or with the help of the encryption key and the encryption algorithm, he is using the public key. Whenever the receiver decrypting the messages from ciphertext to plain text, they are using the one key, that is the private key. So here private keys are used for the decrypting and public key will be used for the encrypting. So there is the next is the processes of the cryptography. So there will be some data or original messages will be there. The data will be encrypted through the encryption key and encryption algorithm that is happening at the sender side. In the sender are using the public key. The receiver has been received the data as the ciphertext, that is that ciphertext would be decrypted to the original message of the plain text. In that case, receiver are using the another key, that is as a secret key. So that is the process of cryptography. In that case, there is some original messages, plain text, that should be encrypted with the encryption algorithm, with the encryption key, that should be converted to the ciphertext. Ciphertext will be working as a decryption. The ciphertext would be converted to the plain text with the help of the decryption key and the decryption algorithm. So that is the entire process of the cryptography. Here whenever the sender converting the data from plain to cipher encryption technique, there is the A is using the public key. Whenever decrypting the message at the receiver side, here the another key, secret key, will be used there. So next, there is the types of the cryptographic algorithms, that is symmetric key, asymmetric key, and the hash function. So symmetric key, so you can see that sender is converting the data from plain text to ciphertext. Again, receiver is converting the data from ciphertext to the plain text. Both are using the same key. Whenever the sender and receiver both are using the same key for the encryption technique and the decryption technique, that is known as the symmetric key algorithm. And whenever the sender using the one key for converting from plain text to plain text to ciphertext, that is the encryption algorithm, encryption technique, and the receiver side is using the different key for decrypting the messages, that means from ciphertext to the plain text. Whenever there is a different key, that is the asymmetric key algorithms. Next, there is the main thing is the hash function. So in that case, there is no key or the no plain text. In that case, plain text would be converted to the with the help of the one function, that is the hash function. So in that case, hash function is that. So in one way in cryptography, hash function have no key since the plain text is not recoverable from the ciphertext. That is the hash function. So next is the symmetric cryptography. Here we can see that there is a sender. He is sending the some messages as the original message as the plain text that should be converted to the ciphertext. This plain text will be encrypted with the one key, and the receiver has received the data as the ciphertext. The ciphertext would be converted to the plain text. The ciphertext, whenever the process is known as the decryption, here the receiver using the same key. So whenever the same key will be used for the encryption and the decryption of the messages, that is the symmetric key algorithm or symmetric key cryptography. So there's a lot of algorithms also are there. So examples of the symmetric key algorithms are the DES, 3DES, AES, IDEA, blowfish. So there are the different modes of DES also applicable, that is the ECB, CBC, CFB, OFB, CM, and there will be the version of the RC4, RC5, cast, safer, towfish. All of these are the different algorithms of the symmetric key. Next one I am going to discuss, that is the asymmetric key cryptography. So here sender is sending the data as a plain text to the receiver side that will be converted to the ciphertext with the one key. So plain text should be encrypted with the one key that has been converted to the ciphertext. Receiver also has received the data. That ciphertext to the plain text will be converted to the another key, that is the decryption algorithm is used for the different key. So here the sender and the receiver are using the different key for encrypting the messages and decrypting the messages. So here the in the case of sender's encryption, so here the public key will be used by the recipients, and the other side the private key will be used the other side. So both are using the different key. So from converting from plain text to ciphertext, sender is using the encryption. For encrypting the data is using the one key, and the receiver side also using the different key. So that's why it is known as the asymmetric key algorithms. Next one, there is the different types of example of the asymmetric key algorithms. These are the Diffie-Hellman, RSA, ECC, that is elliptic curves cryptography, and EI-Gamal. So all of these are the examples of the asymmetric key algorithms. So next one is that public and private key cryptography. So in that case, asymmetric key cryptography overcomes the key management problems by using the different encryption decryption key pairs. So in that case, the encryption key is not sufficient enough for the determine the other key, that is the decryption key. So here the mathematical relationship also exists between the public and the private key that can permit a general rule. Any messages can be encrypted with the one key and another message will be successfully decrypted with the another key. Though there is the another type of main part is the hash function. It is the one-way function. Which this is very fundamental for much of the cryptography. It is very difficult to calculate the input of the function but give the output. One-way function, it is the function that is easy to calculate but hard to invert. But in the case of another precise meaning of the easy and hard can be specified that though all the interfield of the public key cryptography rest on the existence of the one-way function. So that is the one-way function. So there are the different attacks on the cryptography. That means there is a sender who wants to send some data to the receiver side. There will be some attackers. They can hack all the data, different types of data. So main thing, there is mainly 4 types of attacks are there. First one, the ciphertext only attack. Next one, the non-plain text attack. Next one, the chosen plain text attack, and the chosen ciphertext attack. So first one is the ciphertext only attack. So in that case, only data available, that is the target ciphertext. And the non-plain text attack, that is the target ciphertext, but pairs of the other ciphertext and the plain text. That means it can be guessing. By guess, it can be break. Next one is the chosen plain text attack. So in that case, one field can be encryption algorithm with the plain text and it can match the ciphertext. Next one is the chosen ciphertext attack, that is the target ciphertext, but it can decryption algorithm with the ciphertext and it can obtain the matching plain text matching ciphertext. So these are the mainly different types of attacks on the cryptography. Next one is the types of cryptography. Different types of cryptographies are there. Block cipher, stream cipher, substitution ciphers, transposition cipher, monoalphabetic cipher, polyalphabetic cipher, modular mathematics function, and the one-time pad function. So first one is the stream-based function. So stream-based function, that is the one at a time. So in that case, it can mixes the plain text with the key stream. So it is very real-life services. Next one is the block cipher that can perform the transposition and substitution method. It assumes the park right. Next was substitution cipher, that means one letter can be converted to the another. Transposition, that can change the position of the letter in the text. Monoalphabetic example is that Caesar cipher, and polyalphabetic is the Vigenère, and modular mathematics, there is a running key cipher, and one-time pad, it can randomly generate the different types of keys. Whenever you want to create different types of keys, we can use the one-time pad. Next one is that next one is the different types of methods can be applicable on the cryptography. So first one is symmetric method, asymmetric. When you combine both, that is the hybrid. Symmetric, same key will be used for the encrypting and decrypting the messages. Main problem is the key distribution problem is there, because same key are used for the sender side and the receiver side. And asymmetric key, both are the public and the private key. Mathematically, related key pairs, different key will be used for the encryption and the decryption. Hybrid, whenever combines both, it also will be more strength for both methods. Maximum key is known as the session key. It also provides the bulk encryption. So example of the hybrid cryptography methods is that SSL, that negotiates the hybrid method. So next, different types of attributes will be applicable for making the strong encryption, that is the confusion and the diffusion. Confusion means it can change some values each round. It is provide the substitution method, and diffusion, it provides the transposition method. It can change the location of the plain text in the ciphertext. Next is the steganography. Steganography in that case, in cryptography means whenever we are writing something secretly, but in steganography means we are writing by covering. So in that case, no key will be used there. Suppose I want to change the color of the JPEG image, then we can modify it. In case of cryptography, whenever we are sending some data, suppose I want to send some messages as hi, as a plain text, that should be encrypted, that should be protected by the another code as a 01. So 01 will be only known between me and the receiver. But in case of steganography, only I am covering the image, covering the data. That is the steganography. So here in that case, hiding the messages with another medium such as an image, no key will be used. So just like I can change the color of the JPEG image. So this is the main difference between the cryptography and steganography. So main conclusion in that case, if I want to send some messages quickly, we can use the private key, and if I want to send messages secretly, we can use the public key algorithm. So here we can use either the private key cryptography or we can use the public key cryptography according to our requirement. We can use the different types of algorithms to establish the security services to different mechanisms. So that is the main part of the cryptography, where we can protect some data. Suppose I am to send some message hello. Hello is the encoded form will be 0000. So that will be known only between the sender and the receiver. Here we are protecting this hi as 0000 by the key or by the password. But in steganography, just we are covering that one. So no need to require use of any key. So that's all for today's lecture. So I am going to stop my lecture here. If do we have any queries, so you can ask me. Thank you so much.